Hello my friends, it's Adam Rateliff with Adam So Fun, and we are continuing our quilting edge to edge with Q-matic series. We have loaded, we have basted, we have set up our design, brought in designs, and now we're ready to advance. So this is our first advance. We just finished stitching those 2 rows. So when it was done, it said sewing complete because we had only queued up those first 2 rows. So my first thing is I want to take off my side clamps. Don't forget to do this, they'll pop if you do. I do have my side leaders with my sew tights. So they make it really easy. I do have my seam setter, so as we roll, it's going to help me keep everything nice and straight. So I'm taking the side clamps off. I usually leave my machine somewhere near the center, and honestly, I like to push my machine towards the back because then I can see where the machine can go, like where it can get to. There's pins. I might bring it forward for a second. I have my ruler base on, and that adds a little height. I want to get these pins under my idle bar before I push it back. So I'm going to unlatch. Can you see that? I need to see how I can get you in a better spot. There's a big box in this room, and it's right in the way. All right, move some things around so you can see more of the frame. It's a big room, but there's a box right in the middle of it, so I move the box. All right. So we've taken our side clamps off. I have my seam setter from Classy Creations. Again, if you're working or if you're watching this during the month of April and you're new to the channel, if you follow me on social media, Adam So Fun with an SEW of Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I have discounts for a lot of these things during April of 2025, if that's when you're watching it. So this is the seam setter. It's going to help me keep my quilt nice and straight because I have all my seams, the center of the quilt, everything lined up with these little toggles. So clamps off. I'm going to unlock the ratchets to my top bar and my belly bar. This is going to make it so I can roll the back. And I'm going to roll the back. Now I have to be careful of where I roll because of the design. Because this design is flowy, it would be considered a pantograph. I don't want to move it so the bottom of the design is all the way back. I want to move it to where the highest point of the bottom of the last row I stitched is. So if my row goes like this, I want this part to be as far back. So there's going to be some stitching. When you come up close and you see this, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to roll. Once I get my pins under my idle bar, I can move my machine back because I want to see how far back my machine will go. And this is the farthest point that my machine can go. So that's what I'm looking for. Oh, my sew type was on. Did it already? Oh, I need to get those HDs. Okay, this is probably about as far as I can go. Now, there's a few things I want to do. I'm going to pop this seam setter off because it's really easy to put back on because I'm going to lift this bar up because I want to make sure my batting is nice and smoothed out. I want to make sure my seams are nice and flat. So on the Pro Frame, we have the ability to lift our bar up, do this from the center. So it's going to lift up. I can roll this up on itself. This will relax all of those seams. So if you have one that rolled up the wrong way, it's going to relax it. I can also see in here and smooth out my batting. And remember, I'm not going to pull my batting. I'm going to pancake pull my batting. 2 hands and just kind of sliding it out. I have to do it from this direction. Sorry. I lift it up and I do the pancake pull. Because if you grab it and you pull it, you're going to put your finger indents in it. I can see that I'm using flannel because I can see my little flannel funds. Now I can grab this by the center, making sure like this is I always like to puff this up a little bit. And then as I pull this down, it needs to unroll. And it will unroll itself, and then it magnets back on. This can come here. Now all my seams and everything are good. Now I can lock the belly bar and the top bar. And tighten them up. Now I'm not pulling them tight so the bar is bowing. Is my bar bowing? I tend to over tighten. No, that was good. I can look, my seams are good, I can manipulate the fabric if I need to. This looks pretty good, I have to say. But I can manipulate fabric if I need to and do all that. So that's the first part of advancing, just getting the quilt up. I'm gonna kick this under because I don't want to step on it. So now we have to move our design. So I want you to come up, I want you to see this really quick and what I was talking about. I had to mess around with lighting a little bit. So if I move this over and we look at the design, I think we can still see it. Yeah. See how the design kind of, is this where we're looking? We're looking at when we're over. There we are. So if we look at the design, it kind of does this S shape. So this is the lowest point of the bottom of the row we just stitched. This is the highest point of the bottom of the row we stitched. When we advance, we don't want, I'm going to move my machine back over. I don't want to put my machine here and then bring the lowest point to my needle with a design like this. Oh, there's a thread. Of course, I'm over here picking threads while I'm trying to teach you how to do this. If I were to put this point at my needle, the design stitches here. It's going to fill this spot in. So I can't put this here because then it won't fit. It won't be in my safe area anymore. So we're trying to make sure that as we move this and as we move our safe area and things, that we have room for the machine to stitch. So if this is the highest point of the, let's see, the highest point of the bottom of the last row we stitched, which stitches like this, a big wave, then I know my machine can stitch right here. So that's the first thing I'm trying to do. The next thing, I want to see if I can find, this design happens to have, the squares don't have points. So I look at like this square right here, they're rounded. This is the circuit board rounded design, but the lines cross over themselves quite a lot. We'll use this one. I usually like to use something in the center, which would be right here in this beautiful teal square. Oh, you can see that. Here, so see how those lines are crossing over themselves? I want to bring my machine right to one of those lines. And we're going to leave this, we're going to leave the whatever that's called, laser, or not laser. I do have my pinpoint laser on, that's great. We're going to leave the lights off. So I'm going to take it to that point. I'm just going to, you don't have to needle down. The machine's pretty locked there, but if you're worried about the machine moving, I have my button set to needle down. So what I've done is I've stuck it, and I'm just going to needle up and move my foot up and see if you can see that. So right where the laser is the intersection of these two, of this block, where this line, where it creates a block. So we're going to need this intersection when we advance our safe area. So let's go over to our Q-matic screen. So I want to realign my safe area, and that's going to be this icon right here. And if I hit the I, I can see realign safe area. So I'm going to say realign safe area. And I want it to snap to a point, but I need to pick that point, which is right here. But I can't really get there yet. So I'm going to zoom this in because it's going to make it easier for me to snap to that point. This is the point that we put our machine on, right there. Okay? Can you see that kind of? Let's see if I zoom in. This is the point I'm looking at right there. All right? So I'm going to hit over here. I'm going to hit realign safe area. I'm going to hit snap to point. My machine is already there. So I can come and tell it, this is the point. Get a big target, okay? Now, I'm going to say yes. And when I hit my eye to zoom out and see the full screen, see how my safe area has moved? And it's down farther? We've now shifted everything down. All right, so I've realigned the safe area, and now I'm going to make sure and see what I can stitch. So I have selected over here, and I can tap a row, and that shows me the top row. It looks like I'm close to that safe area, so I'm just going to zoom in and I'm just under it, which is fine. I'm going to push my machine back and make sure I check this. And we're going to check a few places in a second anyway. But let's zoom out. And then let me pick my second row. Sorry, select. And look, I'm out of the bottom of the safe area. So when I made this, I probably made this a little big. And so now I'm not going to be able to do 2 rows anymore because it really only fits 1 and like 1.9 of the rows because there's this little part. I don't want to crop that off. So now I'm going to do 1 row at a time. I tend to make things bigger and do 1 row at a time, so that's just me. But if they were littler rows, I could then combine these again. So I'm not going to worry about stitching that one. We're just going to stitch this one. So I'm going to hit on, can you see the whole screen? There, let's go this way, sorry. I'm going to hit this button right here. This is going to let me queue. I'm going to hit select, and I want to select just that 1 row. And let's see, perfect. I'm going to hit OK. So now this is the only row that's going to stitch. But before I stitch it, I do want to do a few little checks. Now I can see my crosshairs are right there. I'm going to move my machine to a few other points. I like to do 1 to the right, 1 to the left. Let's see, I'm going to move it over. And there's an intersection right here, so I'm just going to go look at that intersection that's stitched, and I have my laser light. And do I have to be right on? No, this design doesn't touch itself. So I'm just going to get close, and if I look where my point is right there, I'm lined up on that intersection. And this is how I'm checking. I'm going to take my machine. Let's do something on the left. Oops, sorry, I'm going to get you dizzy. So I'm going to pick somewhere on the left, something that's stitched. I'm going to look at my laser. There we go. And now I'm going to come back to my screen and look on the screen and see how the crosshairs are right at the intersection of that design. Now I know that that is in the correct space, so everything's good there. So now I'm ready to stitch that next row. That's how to advance. The hard part is just getting in the process of moving the machine, finding your point, and then advancing. This is the way I advance. There's other ways to advance the quilt, to realign the safe area. You can use the screen, you can set guidelines. There's other things you can do. This is the one that I find the easiest, so it's the one that I like to do. If I wanted to stitch the sides down, I'm not going to. I usually would with my ruler, but because I have my cup clip on, I'm not going to worry about stitching on and off. It's not going to catch anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and stitch. And I would continue this throughout the quilt. I'm going to stitch this 1 row. I'm not going to have you wait around for me. Let's see, exit. I'm telling it to go to the start point. I'm going to stitch this 1 row. When it's done, we'll do that whole advanced thing again, just so you can see it. So we'll see you back here in a minute. All right, everybody. One of the things I forgot to mention, which is kind of important, side clamps. After I advance and I get everything nice and ready, I'm going to put side clamps on. And I want to put side clamps on before we move our design, because side clamps are going to hold things at a different tension. It's kind of shifting things on our quilt. So we had already advanced. What I'm going to do, this isn't a huge quilt. It's going to be more effective. It's a big quilt and a lot of adding and things. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my side clamps on because we already moved our safe area. I know it's not going to go any farther back and come this way. It's more like a left and right. But I'm going to put my side clamps on and I'm going to recheck those points to make sure everything lines up. It was the first row, so everything should line up at this point. But very important, you don't want to move until you get everything set up on your quilt top the way that you'd want it. Like you're getting it to a point where you're ready to just hit start. This is something that I happen to do a lot because you've met me for a few videos now. If you're new to the channel, I swirl quite a bit. So we're going to check that point. Looks good. Check this point. Looks good. So I did a right, I did a left, everything looks good. So now I'm ready to stitch that row. When this row is done, we'll go through all of that, or we'll go through moving that safe area again, just so you are like, so you have it down, okay? Let's see you back here in a second. All right, so that row stitched. I advanced, you know, I unlocked the ratchets, brought everything back. Here's the back. Found myself a point. Side clamps are on. I didn't forget. I almost forgot again. Side clamps are on. So let me see if I can zoom in to that point for you. Uh-oh. So I have that point. You can kind of see the laser going on. You can kind of see the laser right there under my finger. There we are. So now I'm going to go to my Q-matic screen because the rest of the stuff is done over here. So I can see where my crosshairs are. That's where my needle is. So I know that point is the one that I just stitched. So it's going to be this one, because if I select this row I just stitched, I can see what I'm kind of looking for. So I'm going to zoom in right under where my crosshairs are. Crosshairs, see how it's just everything is so straight with the Bernina. It just makes it so easy. All right, there's my crosshair. Here's the point I'm going to. I'm going to scroll it down just because it'll make it easier for me to get that point. So I need that intersection right there. So over here on my side, I want to hit to move my safe area or realign my safe area. I want to snap to point. I'm going to pick that point right there. And I can see that it kind of picked off to the left, so I'm just going to hit X. And this is why I like to zoom in really far. Now I'm going to hit safe area, snap to point. There's my point. That's very precise. Hit my X, and when I come back to view everything, there I have it. I can pick my next row, and this is the one I'm going to stitch. Now, because we're doing one row at a time, because 2 rows won't fit, I'm not worried about advancing all the way back. I get close to the back, but you can see that it's not as close to the safe area and stuff. I only fit 1. I don't need to go all the way to the back. This is going to be fine. So I'm going to stitch the rest of these. I will come back and we will meet again when we see the bottom of the quilt. We're doing that last row. All right, everyone, so I'm going to continue stitching. When we get to the end, I will come back. We'll talk about how to do those final rows, how to crop and stuff. I just want to say I'm loving my seam setters. I can see that the quilt is rolling really straight and everything. So again, these are from Classy Creations. Follow me on social media, AdamSoFun with an SEW on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can see more about them. And like I said, if you're watching during April of 2025, I have a discount code for those, and all that info is posted over there. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you're notified when new videos drop. I try to do a bunch of different things, out of the box things, but I do a lot of long arm videos and Bernina things. So come back, stick around. I hope you enjoy. And I always end it, at the end of the day, it's just quilting. We want to have a good time. So get out there, have a good time. Get yourself an edge to edge. Go just buy a panel. If you're scared, if you're nervous, get yourself a panel. Edge to edge a panel, get that practice in, because it's that practice that makes you perfect. All right, we'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.